Hello, and welcome to Online Teacher Development Program for Primary English Teachers. This Module 1 is the Introduction on Lesson Planning course, and this video is one of the series on lesson planning from ULIS and the Project 2020. In Module 1, we are going to briefly look at the contents of the whole course. Specifically, we are going to identify the objectives of the whole course. Then, we are going to identify the components of the course. It means that we are going to briefly present the main contents of 12 modules of the whole course, followed by the introduction of the 3 stages of lesson planning. Here are the objectives of the whole course. By the end of this module, we hope that teachers will be able to plan a lesson in a 3-stage process. 3 stages here cover things to consider before planning, things to include in a lesson plan, and things to evaluate or reflect during and after planning. Specifically, teachers will be able to write observable and measurable objectives. Then, they will be able to evaluate, analyze, adapt, and sequence activities so as to meet the learning objectives, providing a variety, flexibility, and practicality. Next, they will be able to plan child-friendly activities for single-skill and integrated skills lessons, using teaching resources in planning an effective English lesson. And finally, teachers will be able to use a checklist to evaluate and reflect on their lesson planning process. In other words, the course is organized in such a way to help teachers answer the following essential questions. Question 1. What to consider before planning a lesson? Question 2. What does a lesson plan look like? What makes a good lesson plan? Question 3. What should be learned? How to identify and write learning objectives? Question 4. How to select and sequence activities so that students can achieve the objectives? How to support learning? How to evaluate, select, and adapt activities? How to organize activities? Question 5. How to check what the students have achieved the objectives. And finally, question 6. What seems to work well and what needs improving? How to evaluate a lesson plan. Module 1 gives an overview of the course in terms of what to learn and how to learn. Module 2 specifies the reasons why to plan a lesson and presents the components of a lesson plan. Module 3 focuses on learning objectives, one of the most important components of a lesson plan. Module 4 looks at procedure of teachers' and students' activities. Activities generally move from more controlled, like repetition, to a less structured or freer format, like interviewing each other. They should be varied in type of interaction. For example, whole group, paired, individual, and mode like speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Module 5 provides a checklist of a good lesson plan. Module 6 goes into details of planning vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar activities. Module 7 goes into details of planning listening and speaking activities. Module 8 goes into details of planning reading and writing activities. Module 9 goes into details of planning integrated skills activities. Module 10 exploits teacher's book as a good source for planning lessons. Module 11 deals with ways to do reflection and improvement. Module 12 wraps up the whole course. So, before we end this video, we are going to quickly look at the 3 stages of the lesson planning process. A good lesson plan involves consideration of what is going to be taught, the objective, and how it will be taught, materials, equipment, and activities. During planning, we mainly look at how to select and sequence activities. We need to answer such questions as: do the activities move logically, so learners can gradually build on what they already know? Do the activities flow well? Are transitions between activities smooth? We also look at timing and answer questions like: was the amount of time allotted for each part of the lesson sufficient? If the planned lesson finishes early, is there a backup activity ready? If the lesson wasn't completed as planned, how can the next class be adjusted to finish the material? And after planning and after teaching the planned lesson, it's time for us to look back to see the strengths and weaknesses of the lesson plan and find ways to improve. To sum up, this video briefly presents the contents of the course. We will examine the objectives of the course and the components of the course, which consists of 12 modules. And that is the end of this video. In the next video in Module 1, we are going to see how to be successful in the course. See you in the next video of Module 1. Goodbye.